Alright, today I'm going to talk about some more flavorings. I'm about to do a trade with somebody, so before I send it in the mail, I figured I would talk about them. Yeah. Some of these are things I just got, some of them I've had a while, but I'll start off with the ones that I just got. And one is like very acclaimed, like everybody talks about it, everybody likes it, except I guess me. But it's the Max Blend by Flavor Art. This particular one I got from E-Cig Express. I got the 10 milliliter bottle, and actually, like, the bulk of what's missing is actually, I gave somebody some as like a sample or whatever, and I don't know, it recommends starting at 1 or 2% or something like that. And I tried that because typically on the flavor end of things I always tend to have the lesser amount of the general consensus or whatever. So I started at the low amount, at 1%, and it just has a very strange, I guess it would be a floral type taste. And I mean, it's not horrible, but I don't understand why everyone just likes it so much. To me, it doesn't even taste like a tobacco, which tobaccos are generally my favorite type of vape or e-liquid or whatever. And I don't know, I don't care for it. I even tried it at 5% because some people had it way higher than other people, because this is a super concentrate, so you're gonna use a relatively low percentage. So I stopped at 5% because I figured if I still don't like the flavor at that point, I'm probably not going to. So I'm trading it. And then this one is a RY4 Asian by the Signature, what they call the Signature line or Signature label from E-Cig Express, which turns out to be nothing more than TFA, which is the Flavor's Apprentice or Perfumer's Apprentice, whatever. So I got 10 ml of that. And this flavor actually is okay, but I don't know. I don't like my tobaccos to be very sweet, and it's definitely very sweet. And I don't know. I just didn't really see anything special about it. I don't know. It has a it's a fruity, very sweet caramel, and it almost has an apple type of flavor in it. So I imagine maybe mixed at the right percentage it might be good, but I don't know. I'm not very patient, I'll admit that right now. I'm pretty, I want it to work pretty instantly, which I know is kind of unreasonable, but whatever. The next one is a butter rum by Lorraine's or whatever, and I got this from Wizard Labs. And I haven't had really any luck with the Lorraine's flavors, and it seems to be not many people do, and I don't really know why. I guess they're just very finicky. The only ones that might have been good, and I'm not even sure because I used them at a low percentage in a relatively kind of diverse recipe or whatever you want to call it, is the Tropical Punch and the Bavarian Cream. I used it in a fluid-ish type, e-liquid or whatever, and it actually did come out very good. But like I said, I use it as a low percentage, or at a low percentage. So I don't know. I just don't know. But in general, I don't really like it. And the butter rum, it's got a very alcohol type flavor, and I don't know, I just don't particularly care for it. It's not horrible, but it's not good, and a lot of people don't have, or put it this way, not many people have much luck with this. So that's going. Butterscotch by Lorraine's as well. As you can see, it's very dark. And I've tried a couple different butterscotches, and so far haven't had much luck with them. A lot of people recommend using the butterscotch in coordination with the butter rum, and it is better, but still not what I would consider good. But I don't know. The good thing about Wizard Labs is you do get 8 milliliters of product, and they're only $1.80 or something like that. The only problem with Wizard Labs, especially lately, they are out of stock, pretty constantly. Like every time I go on there, I went on there recently to get some ELIQUID bases, like the VG and the PG, and they were completely sold out of at least the amounts that I wanted. And not to mention the shipping drastically increased from the last time I purchased from them, which was a while ago. As far as like VG wise, not really sure why it's so expensive, because even 450 milliliters, which I believe is the most that they sell, isn't that heavy. So I don't understand why they don't use a like priority like flat rate box or something like that, because the small ones, which I guess would probably be too small, but I don't know. All I know is it got more expensive, and I'm not exactly sure why. But you can probably see the rest of these are all going to be from Wizard Labs, and it's nothing against them or anything. It's just they typically stock Perfumer's Apprentice. They're mostly Perfumer's Apprentice flavors, put it that way. So Perfumer's Apprentice has like a lot of good flavors, but they also have a lot of not so good ones, at least in my opinion. Next one is Irish Cream, and I actually just got this like in another swap with somebody, and it's just kind of like one of those things, like a throw-in that like you're trying to get the amounts to be as similar as possible, because I like to do relatively even swaps. So I was trying to like figure out flavors that I might not really like, but just to kind of even it out. And you know, you never know if you're gonna like it or not until you try it. So I got it and don't really like it. Again, it has like a very alcohol type back note to it, and I just don't want to vape that. The only time I like alcohol is if I'm drinking it in an alcoholic beverage. Otherwise, I don't want to taste it. So the next one is a Tobacco Absolute, and there's really nothing wrong with this outside of the fact that I find it rather weak, and I just did a extract of my own, which I prefer, and I have a lot of it, so there's really no reason for me to keep that, so I threw it in. The next one is Flu Cured, and this one is by Perfumer's Apprentice, and it's a tobacco flavor. It's kind of a sweeter, it's not super sweet, but it's on the sweeter side, like a light sweetness. It definitely requires steeping. I used it at like 5% and a relatively long steep, like at least 1 week, and then it gets its best around the 1 month mark, which is a long time to wait, but with tobacco sometimes you just have to. It just takes a while for the flavors to develop and become something that's good. I mean, again, there's really nothing, it wasn't horrible, it's just I have a lot of other flavors that, number one, are a lot easier to work with, number two, they steep a lot quicker, and number three, they're just like, I use the super concentrates for the most part, and they're just a lot better to work with in my opinion. So next one is a butterscotch, and this is from the Perfumer's Apprentice, and as you can see by the color, it's a lot lighter than the other butterscotch by Loran. So I'm not really sure why it's so different, but I don't know. The Loran's is a little bit better tasting in my opinion than this one. Like this one has a more alcohol type flavor to it than the butterscotch, but I still don't really like either one of them. This one's Black Honey. It's kind of like a tobacco additive. You can use it on its own, but you would have to use it at a higher percentage, and it would definitely need a long steep. Someone on the forum recommended 5 to 7% at like a month steeping. So you can do that, but it has like a honey, like a dark honey type flavor. I don't know if that makes any sense, but that's like the best way I can describe it, is like kind of like the difference between sugar and brown sugar. That would be like kind of the difference between the black honey and just like a regular honey. It's not bad at all. It's a nice additive. That's the only way I've used it. I've never used it by itself. But again, I'm doing a swap with somebody, so I'm just kind of like trying to get rid of flavors I don't really use, and I just don't really use this. So that's that. And then the last one is along the same lines. It's actually Captain Black by Seedmans, and it looks like that. I don't know why I'm showing you these. They all look pretty much the same, but I got that one from Wizard Labs as well, as you can see on the label. And but it's originally from Seedman's, which I guess is like a tobacco company. And the flavor that is the Captain Black flavor, I guess it's supposedly what they use to treat their tobacco leaves. I don't know if it's a variation of it or like a vapable version of it. I'm not really sure, but it's supposed to be similar in flavor to that. And a lot of people like it. I don't really see anything special about it, but I never really worked with it too much because, again, I'm just honestly lazy. And like I said, there's like a lot of tobaccos I prefer above any of these, and I'll also be getting more from 2 different people. So I'm just basically trying to declutter, and instead of having them sit around, I decided to swap them. So basically, getting back to the swapping thing, to explain what that is if you don't know, on the eCig forum, which I'll put a link down below, there's a part in the classified section where you can swap either e-liquids or flavorings. It's mainly higher end items like nicer tanks or cardos or actual devices like, you know, lava tubes, Provaris, those type of things, like where it's like the bigger stuff. There's not really much flavor swapping going on, just because I guess people maybe just don't think to go there and do it. I'm not really sure. But if you ever have flavors that you don't like, or like me, you're trying to de-stash, you just don't use them, whatever, you can go to the classifieds and list, you know, all the items that you're trying to get rid of, including your devices. Like if you have a Provari that for whatever reason you don't use or don't like, or you prefer something else, just basically anything that you have laying around vaping wise, you can put it on there and either sell it outright or you can trade it. And there's like an option that you choose whether you want to trade or sell and what you're actually looking for, like either whether it be like another device or other flavors or money. And you just go from there, and then if people are interested, they'll leave a post, you know, as a response in the thread, and or send you a message. So I don't know, it's very easy. I haven't had any problems with it. There is a slight chance of someone like swap lifting you, but it's really, it doesn't seem to happen that much, and I believe you have to be a verified member to do it anymore. So that kind of alleviates most of the chance of that happening, because when you apply to be a verified member, you have to go through all these steps to basically, I guess, prove that you are who you are, and it kind of links you personally to your account, opposed to just being like a random person that's trying to scam people. So, and you can also look at the person's like history, see like if they've, you know, left a lot of posts or are very active in the whole forum community or whatever. They also have a feedback score, so if you have a successful swap with somebody, you leave them a positive feedback and it goes to the score, so you can look at that as well and see if they've had any positive or negative feedback. It's a really nice thing to do. There's also a thing where you can just give it away. It's like the pay it forward, PIF, treasure chest. They have like different names for it, but you can go there and actually just, you know, donate kind of something that you just want to get rid of. And I don't know, it's just a nice thing to do, and there's like rules of how you do it, but it's not very complicated. Just read through them, and if you have any questions, you can ask one of the moderators. They're very friendly and helpful. You can either PM them or leave it on the thread. Even another member might help you, but it's very easy. So anyway, that is about it. I am getting more flavors, like I said, in the mail, so I should be doing a review on those soon. I also will be getting a tank. It's actually a, I don't know if you want to call it a hybrid or whatever, but it basically is a tank that is also a dripper. It's a rebuildable type device, and it can be either used as a dripper or a Genesis type tank. I don't remember the exact name. It's like the AGI tank, and I know some people were having issues with the tank portion, but I figure it's a nice way to try it out, because if nothing more, I can use it as a dripper, which I know that I like, and people like rave about the dripping portion of it, so look out for that. Anyway, if you have any questions, comment below.